Do you ever feel burnout?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you see it on my face? This is how I feel. How do I feel about, like, what do you mean, how do I feel about burnout? I can really tell you the whole 9 yards if you want.
I'm a freelance photographer and a student, and I also have a part-time job. Trying to, like, do the most in each one of those, it causes a lot of stress.
All right, I can't even focus now. I already just sat down. I can't focus again. I don't want to do this paper. I can't. I literally don't even have any. I don't even know what to do.
Do you ever feel burnout?
Yes, very much so.
I experience burnout so often it's not even funny. Especially this semester with school.
Do you ever feel burnout?
Sure, we all experience that at times. Strive to make efforts to avoid it, but inevitable, it all hits us at one point or another.
So I get burned out quite a bit, but it's all my fault. Like, I literally couldn't avoid it. Like, at one point I had 3 jobs and I was doing school full time, and then I just had a burnout and I had to, like, I feel like I need guidance, DeAndre. I need guidance.
So the thing about burnout in my life has always been trying to do too much at the same time, obviously, but I've had times where I work full-time jobs while I'm working at several different part-time jobs at the same time.
And this is my plan, is to not sleep tonight and hopefully get everything done by the morning.
Sleep tonight 'cause I have
Well, yeah, you have
work at 5 in the morning.
you have to do all that shit. I have to work at 5 p.m., so that's not the issue for me.
I have.
Are you recording me? Is this what burnout looks like?
I have a lot of work to do, and when everything starts piling up with each other, like, it just throws me off, you feel me?
I have another bottle of wine.
Oh, Jesus.
By the way, this is what burnout looks like. Look at this. Hold on, ready? Hold on. I advertised this to all my employees, all my coworkers yesterday.
Burnout is a form of exhaustion caused by constantly feeling swamped. I feel like a lot of people are always swamped, whether you're in high school trying to put together, all your stuff ready for college, or when you're in college, you always got assignments piling up, papers piling up, finals piling up. And then you get out of college and you get that job, and then you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and you're feeling like you're just constantly overwhelmed with things to do all the time. You feel like you don't have free time, you can't see your friends, you can't relax, you don't have time to relax. And then you get this feeling of being overwhelmed, feeling swamped, being constantly overridden with things to do all the time. That's burnout.
3 6-ounce glasses of wine in here, 13% alcohol. Dude, $4.99. Welcome to college.
I have my job. I feel burnout from that. Creative burnout, absolutely. Burnout with just people. Sometimes you don't want to deal with people. You can get burnout from anything, and I get burnout from pretty much everything at some point.
So it's just like, trying to maintain a good, like, connection, good communication with all your clients, while still trying to maintain, all your hours and what you're doing at work, and then still doing all your homework, tests, everything for school, and it's 5 days of school. It's a mess, honestly, and it just, keeps piling up.
I have been in college for 4 years. This is my 4th year. And I've had to work full-time, more than full-time, over 50 to 60 hours a week for the first 3 years, and then I was hospitalized, so then I had to go and I don't work as much as I did, but I literally worked like 60 to 70 hours a week, and always took full-time classes. Actually, I did do that one semester where I had a mental breakdown, and then I did a second semester after that. I had the mental breakdown with 6 or 5 classes, so then I went to 1 class for that spring semester, and then I was like, everybody was like, you're gonna snap. I snapped. And so then I had to full-fledged throttle that bitch. Also, the way I'm delivering this, I also think helps you understand that I'm burnt out. Full-fledged throttle that shit, so that I have done summer semesters ever since, including the other 2 semesters. Still working. Now I'm waitressing, and I'm working literally every available free moment that I have, which means no study time, because my available free moments are times when I am not at school.
I overwork myself because I have too high of expectations for myself, and then I just push myself until I can't do it anymore. And then, so like I had 3 jobs at one point, and I was doing school full time, and I just barely had time to do anything. And then once I don't have time to do anything that I like to do, then it starts making me really unmotivated and I can't do anything. Like I just want to lay down and sleep. So I just don't do anything.
It's been hard because I work at Costco and my supervisor was out from the first week of the semester until last week. And even now she's only back on 4-hour shifts. So I'm still working more than the 24 hours I'm supposed to work as a student, and it's ended up causing me to fall behind in school. I have a business of my own that I've been trying to work on. So between school, work, my business, I just feel so tired and drained, and it's hard sometimes. It really is.
So sometimes I cry. I don't sleep a lot. And I didn't have any time to prepare for this. And I have 2 5-page research papers due tomorrow, and I haven't started either one.
So he said we can ignore his feedback for what we want to do for our paper, right?
If you want to.
I'm just asking. He said we could, right?
I don't know.
I just feel overwhelmed with school and work. I feel like I'm always busy. I don't have much time to myself anymore.
I don't know what sleep is half the time because Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I've been having to wake up at 5 a.m. for work. I get off at 2, have class at 2:30, so I book it from where I work to down here. And then I get off of class, go home, try to knock out schoolwork as much as I can. Dead tired around like 8 or 9 o'clock, go to bed, wake up the next day. Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm in school from 10 to 6 basically. So a lot of my day is spent here trying to catch up on more that work. So it all just is a cascading effect.
And plus I have an extra, I have another story I have to cover on Monday, which I said I would do, and now I don't want to do it because I have all 8. But I have to do it, but like how am I supposed to do it? Because I have 2 exams due that day. This is where I'm at. Also, what's a social life? All my friends hate me. I don't have any friends left.
No, you got me.
I only see you at school.
Well, I did invite you to something next week when we were done with school, though.
You invite... Where? Where was...
You start to invest all of your time in things that you're trying to get to instead of the people and the friends and family that you have that expect a relationship from you. And so what I've realized is when you put work or you put internships or school as a main priority and you don't invest in your family and your friends, what ends up happening is there becomes like that distance between them, and then you realize that all the effort that you're giving is not towards the people who truly matter most. And I think that's the biggest thing about burnout is when you do that, you tend to lose sight of what your main priorities are. You tend to lose that passion that you should truly be able to have. And it's important that you give yourself the mental rest and the physical rest to be able to overcome, to be able to, not overcome, but what's the right word for it? To be able to truly be the best version of yourself moving forward.
I feel like there's no way to really stop burnout completely. I think you're always going to have some form of burnout at some point in your life.
This is the last
Let me go
part
like
I
this.
need. This is the last part. This is the last part I need, okay?
What do you
Tell
need?
me, how do you, combat burnout?
Okay, so I don't know what you're looking for. No, and I don't want you to answer this, but I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know if you have a goal is to inspire people to get through their burnout. I would like to know what that inspiration is. That's where I'm at. I don't know if I should be looking at the camera or you, but here's the thing. That's where I'm at right now. I would love to know how you combat burnout.
Getting enough sleep, eating well, working out, I feel like taking care of my physical health first helps me a lot when I'm feeling stressed.
Drink plenty of water and get plenty of sleep. Cause as a creative and as just someone with a job, sleep be taking a back seat often, especially when there's stuff that you want to do for your personal, you want to have your free time, your fun time. You want to try to squeeze that in there, and sleep gets sacrificed a lot, but that's going to aid in the burnout.
And to prevent that burnout, I do very well on making lists and checking them off. So the simplest things, such as like, all right, the first thing I need to do today is answer my emails. Then I need to develop a new exam for this course. Then I need to grade these papers, By making that checklist, that psychological knocking off even the easiest things, it makes me feel a little less to getting to that burnout phase.
The one thing that I would say, to help is obviously just be as organized as possible to where you're like, listing everything out. That way you have a plan every day. Because like everybody does have time. It's just about how you manage it. But that also is, difficult. Just like, your basic, do not procrastinate, and all that.
I think it's one of those, self-fulfilling prophecies. When you start to experience that burnout, you become this idea of, I can't do anymore. I'm done. Well, time doesn't stop. And so all that material you needed to do, all that work you still want to do, all those cards you need to send, phone calls you need to make, internet sites you need to go to, when you come back from it, you still have to do that. And then along that burnout time, more is piled onto you. So it's like, the proverbial saying, if you ever find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is stop digging. And so burnout, while it is a legitimate thing, we've all experienced it, it's one of those things we're screwing ourselves in the end of it, because we eventually got to get back to it. We know that. We know we eventually will. However, when we do, not only do we have everything that was causing us to get to that burnout, but even more on top of that.
I think there's definitely ways to avoid burnout. So I'm going to give you 4 ways to avoid burnout. Okay, first off, find other things that you enjoy that you can use as an escape. Maybe like a hobby, playing instruments, going on hikes, watching movies, whatever it is that you like to do. Find that thing and do it. Have an escape. Go join a rec league. Go play games or watch sports, whatever it is that you do, like to detach and relax. Find that thing and do it.
I guess my business, the movie reviewing and trying to set myself up so when I graduate, I do have the ability to show I have this nice portfolio of work, is my way to de-stress, because part of what I'm doing is just reviewing movies. Sure, there are a couple podcasts that I do for this business that my friends and I have set up, but being able to go to the theater and see a movie once or twice a week for free before it comes out, and then just have to speak 5 to 10 minutes on it after the fact in a YouTube video, is just probably the easiest way for me to de-stress.
I like to work out, and then I like to try to find like a show that I try to make myself watch like one episode of every day, or like have like an hour, 2 hours to myself to do something that I like to do. Because if I don't have that time to do stuff I like to do, then that's usually when it starts. Because I feel like there's no time for me to do anything.
Okay, number 2, schedule time to rest and reset. And I do mean schedule. Like you have to sit down and say, this time on this day, or at this point of the month, or whatever it is, I'm going to schedule time to relax and detach, meaning put your phone away if you can, like really get away from things and relax, but schedule the time so that way it's not just like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But like, no, tomorrow is my rest day. Like, don't just waste the time, but schedule the time to be intentional and relax and recharge and detach.
I would find ways to specifically schedule times for rest or times to be visiting family and friends. I think that's pretty much the most important thing you can do, is prioritizing your time don't waste the opportunities that you have with your time. Don't just waste it mindlessly watching Netflix or TikTok. All those things can be very easy to do these days. So my biggest suggestion is you just have to prioritize your time at the most efficient level that you can.
And then you gotta slow down, take a break, and refresh so that you can get back on things in a good, healthy way. You don't want to force yourself to keep going because that's just gonna make you crash harder. So you gotta know when to rest.
I think anytime that you can give yourself that opportunity of rest, whether it's mentally or physically, is important. Even if it seems kind of pathetic or it sounds pathetic or whatever, it isn't, because that's what truly matters. You need to make sure that the best version of you is being put forward.
And like I said, you gotta rest so that when you do get back to things, you can do it in a healthy way.
That's why God gives us the commandment of the Sabbath. Like, you're supposed to have time to reset and focus on Him and not be so burdened down with work, especially like here in the West where it's all work. You know, that whole grind thing, and you're gonna end up working yourself to death.
I would say I think people need to understand, or like give, and I don't want to say like give us a break, but like I think a lot of, like, especially professors, they're like, oh, well, I know that you have so much going on in your life. Like, I understand it's not going to be, like, the best assignment you turn in. Like, I know you have work, you have family, you have school, you have socials. Like, they all kind of, like, say that to you. And it kind of gives you this reassurance where it's like, if it's not 100% perfect, you'll still be okay. But then they still, like, don't give you that break when you actually get that grade back. It's like, and I'm not saying, like, you turn in, like, shitty homework and, like, you get a bad grade. It's like, yeah, you should. But, like, even if you have that conversation at reasonable, like, some teachers, they do hear and see you. And then, like, some teachers, they say they do and they don't. And then on top of that, I think it's, like, the same thing with, like, work. It's, like, work is, like, they just want to work you to death, basically, depending on where you're at. Like, I work in the service industry, and it's like they want to work you to death until they can get, like, a new horse, basically. And it's like, I also would, like, but here's the kicker. I need, like, 4 days off so that I can do my papers and my exams, but I also cannot do that because I need the money to pay for my bills.
Number 3, when you can, work with other people. It's never good to try to do all the work by yourself. Find friends you can rely on. Find people in your classes that you can do the work with, to study with, to talk about the homework with. Like, when you're on your job, find people that you can delegate the tasks to, so that way you don't have to do everything yourself.
Sometimes I don't think about, like, my mental health or, like, I don't know, giving myself a break. I just feel like it's being lazy, and then it makes it worse for me because then I feel bad about it. But I don't know, I've accomplished a lot, but at the same time it's not fun when you get burnt out.
This happened to Moses. I mean, Moses was taking the request of every person in Exodus, like 18 or something, and he was like being the judge for every person's individual case by himself of all the people in Israel, and he was feeling burnt out. But his father-in-law, Jethro, was like, yo, you gotta find other people to help you. Like, you have to delegate. So then he found other trustworthy people in his life that he could trust to help him with the work, so that way he can take care of himself and have self-care. That's why one of the commandments is to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. So you have to take time for self-care and making sure that you have yourself together, because you're not really going to be able to help other people if you're in shambles and you're feeling burned out. Galatians and Ephesians tells us to bear one another's burdens. Okay, if we're bearing one another's burdens, then we're taking care of each other. We're looking after each other. We're supposed to do that. Never do stuff by yourself. You're going to get burned out. Sometimes people care so much about other people that they forget to care about themselves. That's why the commandment says to love your neighbor as yourself. You can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself.
And especially for me, you know, I'm a person of faith. I believe in Jesus Christ, and it talks about in our faith being there for other people and serving other people. And if you don't have that energy to serve others, then you're not really living up to what the faith calls for.
And lastly, trust the will of God. A lot of times I gotta ask myself, am I trusting God right now, or am I gonna rely on myself? I mean, this doesn't mean that I'm never gonna experience burnout, but when I do, I can rely on the fact that I'm in Christ. And Jesus reminds us, he says, come to me all who are weary, and I'll give you rest. So do I trust that, or am I still gonna try to do things my way? Stay focused on Jesus by seeking him first, and all these other things will fall into place.